What it do, Q crew? Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm going to tell you something that your salesman probably didn't tell you you should do with that brand new car you just purchased. That's right. So this kind of goes unnoticed. It's a thing that you should do, highly recommended to do, but a lot of the times nobody ever tells you to do it. So I'm going to break it down for you in this video and get into it. So before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's dive into it. So you just purchased that brand new car. Either it be a Scat Pack, you ready to go racing, or that Nissan Altima, because y'all like to drive crazy in those for some reason. But there's something that I highly recommend that you consider before you start racing that car around. Brand new cars only, folks. So what is this guy talking about, you might be wondering right now. But before we jump into that, the beard oil is finally available. So my wife finally dropped it, the beard butter and the beard oil. Go check it out on Jrue.com. Very lovely. I use it every day. She got hair products too that I use for my hair. This luscious hair right here is just flowing. So I'm about to get into who, what, where, when, why, and how. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the break-in period of your car. No, I'm not talking about creeping around and trying to jack a car. No, I'm talking about the engine, the transmission break-in period. So I got 3 cars in this driveway. 2 of these were purchased brand new. The GT350 was purchased used, so I didn't have to deal with that. But you would think that 2 of these cars have similar break-in procedures and one is totally different. So who should be doing this? You just bought the new car, right? You got to break it in properly. It's rules to it, and I'll get into other things that the experienced mechanics and engineers recommend. But I'm just going to go by what's in your owner's manual, and it's way deep in the owner's manual. Like the Blazer, it is on page 200 in the owner's manual. So you read that, right? Of course you didn't. Like, who wants to read 500 pages of how to drive a car and all the features? Like, it's self-explanatory. But if you are new to new cars, this is something you got to consider. So what does it take to break in a new car? So each car is different. Some cars don't even have break-in periods anymore. That's one of those things that they had like very thorough processes back in the day. But now the fluids are much better, so you can be more aggressive with the cars and do certain things in the cars that you couldn't sooner, now that you couldn't do before. But so the break-in period, so since the engine is new, the transmission is brand new. They're newly machined items coming off the CNC machine. So new metals tend to have shavings, and it gets up in the oil, the rear differentials, and there's debris all around there. You don't want that circulating through the engine. It's going to happen, but with that happen, it's the inevitable. But there's certain ways to break in the engine, and I'm going to go over these 3 cars. Let me explain the break-in period first. The break-in period, you kind of have to baby the engine. Like before you're ready to race. I got 2 sports cars, and I just got this one, the 2022 ZL1, ready to race that one, but I can't yet. It's going to be a minute because I got to rack up some miles, and that's it. So with the break-in period, the first few miles, like even the tires have break-in periods. There's certain things I couldn't do on the Camaro for the first 200 miles of the car with the tires breaking in. Also, mainly the engine. So you can't rev the engine past a certain RPM. You can't go balls to the walls with the throttle. Like, you got to be gentle with these things. And both of those cars behind me are manual. Even automatics like this Blazer is, it has certain things too that you just don't do. And it increases the longevity of the engine, increases performance. If you ignore these things, it'll be detrimental to your health of your engine. It can be, not saying it will, but it's a possibility. So these are some things that you want to take heed of before driving that car. The Blazer, Mustang, Camaro, all 3 different rules to their break-in periods. I'm gonna start off with the Blazer. So I'm gonna read this straight from the owner's manual. This is for the 2021 Blazer. If you're taking what I say word for it. It's on page 200 of that one. I don't even know, I forgot what year this one is. This one might be a 2022, 2021 or 2022. Can't remember, because I had two of them. So, in the owner's manual, and I quote, "New vehicle break-in. Caution, the vehicle does not need an elaborate break-in, but it will perform better in the long run if you follow these guidelines. Do not drive at any one constant speed, fast or slow, for the first 500 miles. Do not make full throttle starts, avoid downshifting, and brake to slow the vehicle." So that's basically engine braking, and that definitely goes for manuals. I don't use engine braking at all because it's wear and tear on the internals, but during the break-in period, it's a huge no-no. So full throttle starts, wide open throttle, just the pedal to the floor basically. And I made this mistake with one of the vehicles that I bought a brand new 2016 Ford Flex. I bought it and took it on a road trip the next day. That's a huge no-no. But I knew about the break-in period, so while I was driving on the stretch of the highway, I was varying the engine RPM, so I'm just accelerating, slowing down, shifting the gear with the manual shift mode, just so there can be some variance in the RPMs. And it also says, avoid making hard stops for the first 200 miles or so. During this time, new brake linings are not yet broken in. Hard stops with new linings can mean premature wear and early replacement. Follow this breaking in guideline every time you get new brake linings. Follow break-in, engine speeds, and load can be gradually increased. So that's it for the Blazer. Now let me move over to the Mustang. So the GT350, and this is a very small, I thought it would be way more elaborate than this. This is like the simplest break-in I ever seen, especially for a car that revs at 82,050. So the Mustang says, your vehicle requires a break-in period. Drive your new vehicle at least 100 miles before performing extended wide open throttle maneuvers and at least 1,000 miles before performance or competition conditions. Note, vary your speed frequently in order to give moving parts a chance to break in. So that's all the Mustang says. Basically, no wide open throttles and vary the RPM. Very similar to the Blazer, but it's 1,000 miles instead of the 500 miles. And the Camaro, I'm gonna have to sit down for that one because there's a lot to it, a whole lot to it. So brace yourselves for this one. And if you're a car enthusiast, you'll appreciate another cold start. Because who doesn't love a cold start of a big V8? Let this thing warm up just a bit. That's another thing too. Don't just jump in the car and just go. Like, you gotta let the fluids warm up before you start doing all these high RPM maneuvers, wide open throttle. Like, the oil is cold right now, so oil performs better when it's warmer and not cold because it expands through the engine, all that good stuff. So yeah, let me get situated in here and pull out the owner's manual for this one. In this Camaro, pulled out the owner's manual. All these cars got them. The break-in period, if you have one, will be in here. And I still assume most cars do. And it's a full page. Like, this is a lot. I wasn't aware. Very thankful for the person that commented on the video and told me about the break-in period on this car, because I knew it had one, but it's way longer than what I thought a break-in period should be. And then I had another Camaro too, 2020 SS1LE, and is this a different, I got the ZL1 right now, but it's I don't even know if the other Camaro had the same break-in period. I just knew to be easy on it, but this goes into great detail. Like I said, it's a full page. The other ones were like 2 sentences. So here we go, the read along. Starting operating. New vehicle break-in. Caution, follow these recommended guidelines for the first 1,500 miles. That's a long time, dog. Well, the first 1,500 miles of driving this vehicle, parts have a break-in period and performance will be better in the long run. Avoid full throttle starts and abrupt stops. Do not exceed 4,000 engine RPM. And that's where the fun starts in here. That's definitely where the fun starts in the GT350. It doesn't even get power till 4,000 and above. But in here, it's torquey all the way through. So it's easier to live with that. The GT350, it would be a boring car if I couldn't go above 4,000. But avoid driving at any one constant speed, fast or slow, variance of the RPMs. So do not drive, do not drive above 80 miles per hour. Avoid downshifting to brake or slow the vehicle when engine speed will exceed 4,000 RPM. Do not let the engine labor. Never lug the engine in high gear at low speeds with the manual transmission. Shift to the next lower gear. That's basically downshifting, and engine rev match really helps with that if you suck at downshifting. This rule applies at all times, not just during the break-in period. Yep. So basically lugging the engine around, that's when the RPMs are too low to where it's like the engine wants to shut off in the manual transmission. So you have to have adequate RPM. Like right now it idles at like 600 RPM, but I think to make a successful driving experience, it needs to be around maybe like 1500 or above. So yeah, just downshift if you need to get the power band higher or the RPMs higher in the next lowest gear. Continue. Do not participate in racing events, sport driving schools, or similar activities during the break-in period. The Mustang says the same thing. Check engine oil with every refueling, and if necessary, oil and fuel consumption may be higher than normal driving during the first 1,500 miles. I haven't done that yet. Forgot about that. I just got gas yesterday. It's $5 a gallon. To break in new tires, drive at moderate speeds and avoid hard cornering for the first 200 miles. New tires do not have maximum traction and may tend to slip. Notice that 650 horsepower and it's below freezing on summer tires here. A lot of slippage can happen in this thing. New brake linings also need a break-in period. Avoid making hard stops during the first 200 miles. This is recommended every time brake linings are replaced, same as the Blazer. Should the vehicle be used for racing or competitive driving after break-in, the rear axle lubricant must be replaced beforehand. And that's what I was saying, like all the debris, especially in the rear differentials, especially on Camaros, like it's a lot of metal shavings that come out of there. So if you want to have preventative maintenance on your Camaro, consider getting that rear diff fluid changed. That's not in the manual, like even outside of racing, but that's something like that the OGs recommend you do. On new vehicles, the various mechanical and electrical systems experience a break-in period on the first 4,000 miles of routine driving. As the vehicle is driven, the mechanical systems adjust to provide optimal fuel economy and transmission shift performance. Electrical systems will adapt and calibrate during the break-in period. A one-time occurrence of clicks and similar vehicle noises is normal during this process. Normal driving changes the vehicle's battery to achieve the best operation of this vehicle, including fuel economy, so it does increase performance or doesn't degrade the performance on if you properly break in the vehicle. So yeah, that's how you break in the Camaro. A lot longer, in-depth process than the other two. I thought it would be the same. I thought they would all have like a general thing. I didn't think it would be this long of a break-in period, but I trust the engineers that designed this vehicle to have the right break-in period. So I'm not going to go against that. So some people say change the oil at like 500 miles. It doesn't say that in the driver's manual. That's something that used to happen back in the day. I don't personally know if that's something you should still continue to do, so I'm not going to tell you all to do that. I'm just going to say what's in the driving manual. Don't be so hasteful to get the most performance out of your car. It just takes a little bit of time, and your break-in period is most likely less than mine. So I'm kind of jealous of people with higher miles. Like on this car, I only have 370 miles, so slowly getting there, but it's a process. Did not know about the 80 miles an hour. Shouldn't be going over 80 anyways. I don't go over 80. What am I talking about? But yeah, like definitely in automatic transmissions, it takes time for the system to get adjusted to how you drive, because some vehicles, especially Chrysler, they were notorious for this with their ZF transmissions. Like there would be hard shifts. Even in that Blazer, like there's abrupt shifts. It's like, dog, why is it shifting so hard? But it's getting to know you and how you drive, and it's a machine. It takes some getting used to. Like, these parts are newly mated together. The gears are new, the engine is new, the seal rings, pistons, all that stuff is just working together, and it has to be lubricated because it's newly machined. Boom, stuck in the car. Shavings and all that stuff is mixed in with the fluids, the differential fluids, the oils, maybe even the trans fluid as well. So just be mindful of that. And once you get past the break-in period, feel free to drive it however you want to. I cannot wait to get this car to that point. Don't just drive the car off the lot and just go crazy. I know it's very tempting, especially if you got an exciting car or not even an exciting car. Like, it's fun to just drive fast and sporty and just get the most out of the performance of any car that you have. But you just gotta wait. It's best for the long run. It's recommended from the engineer. So from one engineer to you all, just be mindful of that. Like, they know what they're talking about when they do this stuff. Time tested. It's better nowadays, so you don't have to be as thorough as you did at one point in time. But now, just take this into consideration. So that's what I'm going to leave you all with today in this video. Be gentle to these new cars. They are monsters, especially my cars. They are just animals, and I cannot wait to get on this thing. But I can't release that content until later, unfortunately, and it'll probably take me a month to get those miles or even more. I just got to drive more. Let me end this video now so I can get there on the road and enjoy this car, so I can get to that point of the break-in period, so I can go past 4,000 RPM. Once again, my name is Q. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.